Welcome to a breaking news episode of the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast. It's episode 65. I am one of your two co-hosts, Stephen Rothberg. I'm the founder of College Recruiter job search site, where we believe that every student and recent grad deserves a great career. And I am joined here today by yesterday you were illustrious, today magnificent
I
co-host.
thought you were going to say esteemed, and I was going to laugh at that one too, but whatever. Okay, I'm Peter Zollman. I'm with the AIM Group. We do business intelligence and consulting and publication for recruitment marketplaces and job boards. We're talking about Glassdoor. They have hit a serious pothole. The hallmark of Glassdoor has always been anonymity, and even Christian Sutherland Wong, the CEO, says that. But apparently, they have started attaching real names and requiring real names and profiles in order for people to be involved, and that has created the word I'm thinking of I won't use, so I'll use the word firestorm.
Was it instead of fire? Was it a different four-letter word?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's created a bit of a firestorm online, and they've had to put out one statement and then they put out another statement. And anyway, we have with us Aaron Mackey from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. They have worked with Glassdoor and Indeed, generally positive, but on this one, they might have a different take. So I'll let Aaron chime in.
Yes, so thanks for having me. And yeah, as you said, we have long been a big fan of Glassdoor and its commitment to its users' anonymity. Glassdoor, for the past 15 years, has repeatedly stood up in court and fought for its users' anonymity. They've also been consistent in giving their users notice when employers are seeking that information through legal processes like subpoenas. And EFF has actually represented some Glassdoor users and successfully pushed back on employers' efforts. And so we're always very proud to represent those users and to support Glassdoor in its effort to protect its users' anonymity. And that's why sort of this week's news and the potential of implications of these policies that Glassdoor has updated are so concerning to EFF, and I think to those who use Glassdoor to comment about their experiences with employers.
I think we should explain that the reason they give, at least, is because they've acquired a social network and they want to link names with the social network piece, and they want to make sure they're eliminating trolls and bad actors and scammers and bots. And I think that's we can agree, maybe, Aaron, you tell me, that that's a legitimate reason. The problem comes in because
Yeah, so I think it's people should understand really what's happening here, which is that when you post on Glassdoor and you're reviewing an employer, you can still remain anonymous in that Glassdoor is not presenting any of that information. What has happened is, as a result of this social network acquisition, Glassdoor is requiring users to provide identifying information, and in some senses is taking that information from other data points, including, say, if you had an email address that had your first and last name, they would use that, and they're also verifying that information. And so I think that the danger here is the potential not to be directly identified for posting a Glassdoor review, but the fact that they're collecting so much more information that could be susceptible to a legal demand, whereas you didn't have to provide your real name in the past, or an employer or someone else who's interested in your identity might be able to narrow down who they think a particular Glassdoor reviewer will be just because of your activity that's public on their companion social network. As to your points about, or Glassdoor's points about why they're making this, I sort of understand where they're coming from. But what I will say is that there's not any definitive proof that attaching real names to a social media network actually ensures that people are behaving differently than if they were to speak anonymously. I think Facebook is the number one example of how that's not actually true. Everyone has to be verified on that network, and there are still horrible things said and horrible things done by people in their real names on Facebook. And Facebook's policy has actually been proven to be harmful to people, particularly those like in repressive regimes or human rights workers, those who might be susceptible to things like domestic violence. And so that's all because of the potential for someone to identify them. And I think some of those concerns exist now with the way Glassdoor is heading.
Cool. So I've got a question, but before we get there, Peter, I received a statement yesterday when we were kind of prepping for this breaking news episode from a Glassdoor PR person, and maybe this is a good time for you to read that. Because I think in fairness to Glassdoor and to better inform our viewers, it'd probably be good for them to hear the few sentences that Glassdoor shared with us.
Yep. Glassdoor is committed. This is the PR spokesperson. Glassdoor is committed to providing a platform for people to share their opinions and experiences about their jobs and companies anonymously without fear of intimidation or retaliation. User reviews on Glassdoor have always and will always be anonymous. In the Glassdoor community, users always have the choice to post with their name or post anonymously with their company name or job title. Glassdoor has never and will never reveal a user's name alongside their content unless that is what the user chooses. But the firestorm started because someone posted a blog posting that her name was attached to her blog, her
Review.
Glassdoor review without permission. Today, Christian Sutherland Wong came out with a 2-page spread on Fortune, and I think you're putting that up there. I don't know if people can click on it, whether it's clickable link or whether they have to try to find it, but just go to Fortune and Christian Sutherland Wong. And he said that he tried to say this is much ado about nothing. I'm not sure I agree. I think he forcefully defended their policy of anonymity, but the two worries I have are if somebody subpoenas it or if there's a hack. And we know that as much as any company at all tries to protect users from hacks, they happen. And that could be extraordinarily difficult for Glassdoor users.
Yeah. So it reminds me, and Peter, I'm glad that you shared that vantage point. You know, the subpoena, the hacking. I share that concern. It reminds me of if you're in a restaurant, friend of yours is going to go use the bathroom, and they like leave you with their wallet and phone, right? You agree to watch that. You've got now an obligation to take care of that. You can't just like walk out the door and let somebody else steal your friend's wallet and phone. Your friend's going to be upset with you. As a job site, employers certainly have this. If candidates register with what in the US we call their social security numbers, then we have to safeguard that data. Your healthcare company has to safeguard, your medical conditions. Glassdoor and the parent company Recruit, to the extent that they're collecting this data on people, they now have to safeguard it. If you don't have the data to begin with, you don't have to worry about safeguarding it. And so just having it means that they're a target for subpoenas. So, Aaron, a question for you. And I think it's probably too early, I'm guessing, but I think you would know a lot more about this than I would. Is it your best guess that this was actually like planned by Glassdoor, that they actually do want to have usernames associated with the reviews, that employers could actually see that? Or are you thinking at this point that I think the emphatic denials by Glassdoor, it kind of points to maybe a technical error, or perhaps the user didn't realize that by doing something that she did, that was causing her information to be shared, which to me is also a bit of a technical problem because it should have been more evident to her. Hey, caution before you do this. Know that your name's going to be out there. Do you really want to do it? Is EFF thinking that this is maybe like a mistake by Glassdoor, bad policy, or maybe a technical problem?
I mean, I think we take them at their word and trust them given their history of defending their users' anonymity, that it's true that they are not planning to de-anonymize and identify users on Glassdoor who are posting reviews. But I think the confusion is that there are now sort of newer, or at least newer integrations of other sites and services provided by Glassdoor, and the back end database for those users is being merged, and there's a greater amount of information being collected and stored by Glassdoor, including that user's real name. And so whether there was a misstep in terms of how they're engineering this data, I think is unclear. But I do think they have sort of stumbled in actually explaining sort of what these terms are and exactly what's happening. And I do think older users who had regularly relied on Glassdoor and may have posted a number of times and didn't provide, say, their name with an account because it wasn't required in the past, are now sort of struggling with this new reality of these terms of, not just that you have to provide a name, but that Glassdoor is going to go out and sort of try to find other information and verify it and sort of increase the amount of information that they have about their users. And so I think while everything that Glassdoor has said is I take them at their word and believe them, I do think it is complicating this picture of exactly what Glassdoor's purpose is and whether they are truly sort of operating with their users' anonymity sort of at the forefront of their concern.
So what I'm hearing is, it's one thing for Glassdoor to not share publicly the names or other identities of these users. It's a different issue that they're now requiring the collection of that they're forcing users to hand that over. So it's not just about, can employers see your name when they see your review? It's also the fact that Glassdoor simply has that information. And then what can happen to it?
As you said earlier, you don't have to disclose information that you never collect in the first place. And so there's that legal issue. And then, like you said, the potential data security issue. I think the fact that Glassdoor is wanting to sort of increase the value internally of this data and the richness of it by using other sources to verify someone's employment history, et cetera, then that value of that data is perhaps heightened for someone else who wants to intrude in the system and steal it. So I think there are just a number of potential problems here.
And there are also increasing ties between Glassdoor and its corporate sister, corporate sibling, Indeed, which is obviously the world's leading job board by a wide margin. So
Peter, did you say job board and not recruitment marketplace?
Absolutely. It is a recruitment marketplace, but it's also it's the world's leading job board. We could go on for another 10 minutes, but we can't. And we just to emphasize, we're disappointed, but we did ask Glassdoor to send a representative, participate. They sent the statement instead. I think I understand that, but it's disappointing. And we're very glad that Aaron Mackey of the Electronic Frontier Foundation had good things to say about them generally. And we hope that none of these severe concerns come to pass. So thank you, Mr. Mackey. Thank you, Mr. Rothberg. And we will wrap up.
Awesome. Aaron, thank you and your colleagues at EFF for all the great work that they do. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me.
Cheers, guys.